Okay, hey everyone, it's me Bree again. I am making another video about what it is to be trans. I know I've already made like a video or two like this already, but the reason why I keep remaking these videos is because I'm keeping them current. I'm just kind of keeping them fresh. Like making videos is all about what you have to say about anything. And so I like to keep videos like that current and fresh. Um, Not that anything that I believe about it, not that any of my opinions have really changed all that much, but so, just because, I'm more passable now is probably the main reason. I'm more passable now than I was the last time I made it. And at least in my opinion. And and so I just kind of, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Well, I know what I'm trying to say, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm making a video to give to people who don't know much about what it is to be trans, what being transgendered or transsexual really is, what it is not. So let's begin, shall we? And this, of course, is all just coming from me. I can't even talk. Why am I making a video if I can't even talk? Anyway, obviously I'm not a scientific expert on any of this, but I am transgendered, so I think that gives me at least a little credibility. Anyway, so let's begin. I'm so sorry. Pretty much. Let's start. Okay, where do we start? Let's start with the basics. I never premeditate my videos very much. Like, I never practice what I'm going to say. I just kind of make videos. Kind of ramble until I get my point across. Anyway, so, what being transgendered is, I am a girl who is transgendered, and what this means is that I was born with male anatomy. I was not born a boy, is what I'm trying to get at. I was not born psychologically male. I was born physically male. And the reason for this, there's a scientific theory that the brain and everything internal, not physically internal, but like mentally, spiritually, whatever, is developed and is brought into being as one gender, like male or female, and then your sex, aka your physical development, develops and is brought about opposite your gender. So I was born with the God-given nature of a girl. Mentally, emotionally, I am a girl. In my essence, I am female. And while I was developing, I got too much testosterone in my development, and my body developed as a boy, as a male. So that was, conflicting there. I'm a girl, but physically, I was considered male because I had male genitalia. My body developed as a male would develop, and so it's a birth defect, and in and of itself, that's all it is. That's all being transgendered really is being born with the opposite sex, even though you are not that sex. And I'm sorry, I'm really like kind of scatterbrained right now. I'm kind of going all over the place, but that's okay. That's just how I am right now. I'm a bit of a scatterbrain, so hopefully you're gathering my point here. But being transgendered is nothing more than a birth defect. And for some reason, that is hard for people to understand. Um, it's no different than a baby who was born with a cleft palate. No different than an infant who was born with extra limbs or not enough limbs. It's just a birth defect. It's like any other birth defect. The problem is that as a transgendered person, my birth defect is my entire body. And so when I'm born, there is nothing to signal that my body is incorrect or is defective. There's nothing to signal that because the birth defect is my whole body. And there's nothing, there's nothing obvious about it. I look exactly like a little boy. And so, what's to tell anybody otherwise? I don't, as a baby, you don't necessarily have the ability to, act male or female. You're just a baby. You just do what babies do. And it's not until you get older and start developing that it becomes more noticeable. When you're a child, toddler or a little older, then it might, in some cases, become more noticeable. Maybe as a little boy, he might, want to dress in mommy's clothes or play with sissy's toys or, those minute little details that kind of characterize a child's gender. Like where boys want to play in the sand and play with trucks and dinosaurs and airplanes and knock stuff over and get dirty. And not to say that there's not girls who are like that, because there are. But and then there's little girls who generally want to get their nails done, want to be like mommy, want to try on mommy's shoes, want to wear mommy's dresses, want to play with mommy's makeup, want to play with Barbies, those general characteristics that kind of determine a child's gender, or not determine, but reflect a child's gender. And, and then maybe when they get older, young adults, teenagers, even older adults, then that's where they can really start thinking for themselves. And, that's where it becomes most apparent is, okay, this person obviously does not fit into the gender role that they physically have. It's nothing more than a birth defect, which is why it's kind of hard for me to explain, because there's not much to explain, and that makes it hard to explain it to other people. Just because they're expecting you to, spew out this whole long essay as to what all the differences are, and, what makes a trans person transgendered, what all does that entail. It makes it hard to describe that because people expect there to be a lot to explain, but it's really simple. It just is. I don't know what else to say about it. It's just a birth defect, and people can't understand that. I've already now to explain to you what being transgendered is not, and I've already kind of explained that, but I'm going to go ahead and get more in depth with that. What being transgendered is not is a boy who wants to be a girl or a girl who wants to be a boy. That is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, misconception about what it is to be transgendered. For a physically male child or person in general to want to feel and be like a girl, it's not, they are a girl or they are a boy. It's not, okay. I'm just going to use me as an example here. I was not a little boy who wanted to be a girl. I am a girl. I always was a girl, even if it took me a while to figure that out, unfortunately. I've always been a girl. I was simply born like a boy. And I did not choose it. And that's another thing. Being transgendered is not a choice. Because it is not, a boy wanting to be a girl or a girl wanting to be a boy, it is not a choice. No one in their right mind would choose to be transgendered. Nobody in their right mind would choose to be transgendered. It just wouldn't happen. No, that was my phone. It's not something that we chose. It's a birth defect, so it was something we were born with, and it's something we have to live with. That's just how it is. So that brings me to another point. Being transgendered has nothing to do with being homosexual or being gay. That's the same thing, but it has nothing to do with being gay. Nothing at all. If a transgendered person happens to be homosexual, that's a matter of circumstance. That has nothing to do with their transition. It has nothing to do with them being transgendered. Absolutely nothing. Which is why I have a problem with the term LGBT. I don't think there should be a T at the end. Now, yeah, I just don't think there should be a T at the end, because LGB is kind of, it's a movement for equal rights, yes. In that respect, transsexuals should be involved. But the movement of LGB is pretty much a homosexual movement, which is why I have a problem with putting the T at the end. Because transsexuals, as a whole, have nothing to do with gay people. Are there gay transsexuals? Yes, but just because I'm transsexual doesn't mean I'm gay. Because I'm not a boy, first of all, and I'm attracted to men. So that has, where is the homosexuality there? There is none. I'm a straight girl. So I don't really appreciate being lumped into LGBT. And only because it's primarily a homosexual movement. I don't have a problem with LGBT in and of itself, but I do have a problem with my condition being classified as a homosexual condition. Because I'm not homosexual. So, furthermore, cross-dressing. Being transgendered is not another form of cross-dressing. It just is not. It has nothing to do with cross-dressing. As I said, being transgendered is a birth defect. And so, me wearing girls' clothing should be considered normal. It's not cross-dressing. Because I'm not a boy, I'm wearing the clothes I'm supposed to wear. So cross-dressing would kind of not make sense. That term would not make sense. So yeah. So for those of you, to sum it all up, for those of you who are asking what it is to be transgendered, it's just a birth defect. That's all it is, nothing more than that. Um, in my case, I was a girl. I'm a girl who was developed hormonally as a boy. I got too much testosterone during development, and my body developed as a male, even though I am, in fact, female. That's all it is. That's how it works for boys and girls. Um, what being transgendered is not, it is not being a boy who wants to be a girl, because that boy is a girl. And it's not a girl wanting to be a boy, because that girl is in fact a boy. And of course, there are stereotypes I'm sure you are all aware of. But the tranny stereotype is nothing more than a stereotype, and it does not embody who real transgendered people are. In fact, the word transgendered is technically incorrect. I still stand by that opinion because, especially in my case, my gender is female, and I identify with that. I'm not changing my gender. So the term transgendered is technically incorrect. The correct term is transsexual. The reason I applied the term transgendered to myself publicly is because transgender does not, to me, transgender does not sound as bad or stereotypical as transsexual. That's the only reason why I say transgendered, even though it's not technically correct. Anyway, so that's all I have to say. That I know I was everywhere. I was really jumbled up. My tongue is very twisted today, and it's kind of hard for me to speak. But that's what it is to be transgendered, and I hope I enlightened you at least a little. So yeah. Bye.